Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy AZ and today we are watching top 8 culture shocks when moving to Australia. Guys, I'm from Nepal and people of my age, most of them have gone to Australia for studies and I know it's the best place to be in right now. Seeing this scenario of America, I don't feel like America is a good place to be in, but Australia is. I want to know what the culture shocks would look like, so let's get started. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do subscribe because I'm gonna react to more of Australia's stuff. So do recommend me some as well. Comment down what you think. Let's get started.
So you've heard about the deadly animals, scorching sun, impossible isolation. What was the other one? And sausage and bread, and you're still thinking that you want to come to the land down under, then prepare yourself for these weird Australian culture shocks. G'day guys, my name's Ross.
By the way, there has been a lot of news recently around Australia's wildfire and flash floods. I guess there were some news around that, so I would love to know what is happening there. Are you guys okay? How are you guys doing, by the way?
And I moved with my family to Australia during a global pandemic. Now I love living in Australia, but when we first moved over here, it was a little bit weird. Now to stop things being so weird for you when you make the move, these are our top 8 culture shocks when moving to Australia. Australians love their sport, but unless you're from Australia, sometimes the sport is a little bit strange. For example, football isn't football. And I'm not really talking about soccer, or am I? It really freaks me out to say the word soccer. For me, I know what football is. And for Australians, they also know what football is. But when you move to Australia,
Is football similar in Australia and USA? Are they same? Because in Europe, football means what you play with foot, right? But it's totally different in America. Is it same in America and uh, Australia? I would love to know.
just resign yourself to the fact that you're now probably going to follow the minority sport and also need a special subscription just to be able to watch it. Football in Australia can mean many things. Football for me means soccer, but football in
True.
Queensland means rugby league. And if you come from one of the southern states like Victoria or South Australia, then football can mean AFL. And I still don't understand how that game works, but
So AFL is different from football. Okay.
I want
So it's not technically the football of America. Is it different from that? It's
to
weird.
learn. You can still have a beer at an AFL game, right? But if you come from the UK like me and you still want to watch your beloved football, then you're going to have to become a social hermit, bound to the wee hours of the night just to watch your darling Premier League. If you don't like it, then take up one of the other many forms of football. And if you're American, well, they also kind of play baseball and stuff too, but probably not your form of football. Be like too hot in all the pads and stuff. Or imagine getting a spider in your helmet. The second shock that we had coming from the antisocial rest of the world is the fact that
I mean, Australia loves cricket as well.
in Australia,
I think it's more famous than baseball, than AFL. I don't know much, but maybe it is. But Australian team, top notch. I've watched their games. I love Saint One, guys.
actually friendly to you. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, people are friendly in other parts of the world. But Australians are kind of like this weird level of friendly. People greet you on the street. Neighbours come up to your house and welcome you to the neighbourhood.
Wow,
People
that is
actually
sweet.
offer you help. Now for me, being the antisocial
That
hermit
is
that I am
sweet.
watching my Premier League, people being friendly to me was a little bit weird and it just took a little bit of getting used to. But when it happens to you in Australia, it really does make you realise how nice the world can be. Now hey, you're going to think to yourself, people around the world are nice, and lots of them are. And you normally notice it when you're on holiday. Maybe it's the weather that makes people happier. Because I can tell you that the dreary darkness of winter kind of makes people the opposite. To be honest, this is one of the best culture shocks of Australia. Calling all social recluses out there. If you move to Australia, it's going to make you a better person. No one wants your social awkwardness or unfriendly banter. Australians are genuinely friendly, unless they don't like you. But there's no beating around the bush. I'll tell you straight. Now, coming from the northern hemisphere on the other side of the world, having a cold Christmas becomes a rite of passage. But here, cold Christmases, Welcome to the heat, my friend.
Okay.
Christmas in summer. It's hot.
So Christmas is actually in summer. That is weird. I can't imagine. I can't imagine Christmas being in a hot weather.
Really hot. If you don't have aircon, you're gonna struggle. It's not dark. You and your family aren't just confined to one room watching each other open presents you probably didn't even want. Wishing that the TV was on so that you wouldn't have to make awkward conversation with family members who you hardly ever see apart from the festive time. Wondering to yourself, is it too early to start drinking yet? The fact is that with Christmas in Australia, you get to take all of the good bits of Christmas, like presents, and spending time with family that you actually want to spend
Nice.
time with. And then add all the good things of
yeah.
summer, like going to the beach, spending time in the pool, having a barbecue in the sunshine. Don't hang on to your old traditions of Christmas, like your roast turkey with all of the
Alright, so this is weird because for me, Christmas means it's, winter, in a winter night, and you're celebrating with a lot of feast, and, you are just having fun, and it's warm. Like, I imagine Christmas like that, but it's so different when you tell that it's hot. So, a little bit off for me, but I want to experience this too.
trimmings. I mean, do hang on to them, but don't whinge that you're doing it in the heat. Have a barbecue instead. Savour the wonder that is a potato bake. Why did we not have these in England? Or if we did, I never had one. They're gorgeous. Make new traditions and embrace the fact that Christmas in summer is now your new life. Now, coming from cosmopolitan Europe, I was kind of used to this next one because people on the continent sometimes like to have a siesta. But at least they opened up the shops and stuff again. Now, I know that this can catch out the average Brit visiting Marbella for the first time and wondering why in the middle of the day all the shops are shut. But in Australia, it goes to another extreme and shops just shut early. Want to get a coffee after 4 p.m? Yeah, nah. Don't be crazy. Why would you need that much caffeine in your system at night? It's going to go dark in a couple of hours. Want a takeaway after 9 p.m. on a Friday? Well, you better live in the city centre. Ain't no one going to work after 9 p.m. in the burbs. You crazy? Unless you're in the major cities, things in Australia are rarely 24 hours. People have a life. They don't want to sit there waiting in a restaurant or a shop for your convenience. Don't be so selfish. Why aren't things so convenient? Well, it turns out people don't actually want to work all the time. And you need to respect that. Get a bit more organised. Enjoy a night in. Realise that thing you think you need, you probably don't need right now. I'm sorry that the shop's shut early, but if you don't have that thing you want right now, is the world going to end? Probably not. And if it was that important, you wouldn't have forgotten it, right? And
So this is a weird thing for me as well. How are you gonna enjoy if if all the shops are closed, if there is no restaurants, and you worked hard and you want to have some fun, and the shop has already been closed? What's the fun? Interesting. What's your opinion on this, guys? Let me know.
this culture shock extends into the next one, and it's the work culture. And weirdly enough, most Australians don't like to work. I mean, they do. They do like to work. That's a massively sweeping statement. But fortunately for people who live here, we don't live to work. Working to live is an incredibly emancipating feeling. What's the point in going to work all day to earn money to then not have the time to spend it? I don't want to live a life like that, do you?
True.
Especially when you have all of this fantastic weather and beautiful scenery to spend it in. Except when it's a La Nina year. Like, the scenery's still there, but the weather's still a bit crap, and it has been for the last 2 years.
How's the weather right now, by the way? Let me know. Because a lot of news has been coming up. I don't know if they are true, but yeah. How's the weather there?
Years. Fortunately for most Australians, this laissez-faire attitude to work extends to lots of different industries. If you're sick of the daily grind in your job, then come to Australia and you can do the same thing but not work as hard. Wouldn't we all want to just do that? But sometimes this incredibly laid-back nature can lend itself to some slightly weird / potentially unsafe habits. Barefoot in public? That one takes a little bit of getting used to. Especially living
Wow. Okay. Barefoot? In a normal road? I don't believe so.
up here
could
the
be in
Sunshine
beaches,
State of
though.
Queensland, seeing people go barefoot in your local Coles can be pretty much a daily occurrence. Lots of people do it, especially children. It's like they've got an allergy to
Why? You guys don't like shoes or what?
shoes or thongs. Just put some thongs on, mate. protect yourself. Now for us foreigners who are used to wearing shoes anyway just to keep our toes warm, seeing people go barefoot in
Guys, to be honest, we even wear shoes inside our home. And you guys don't use it even going shopping?
public and it's not the beach or a swimming pool can be a little bit weird. But
Very
actually, rather
weird,
than
very
criticising
weird.
or wondering if they've got asbestos in the soles of their feet, don't criticise. Join them. Everyone talks about that feeling where you can spread your toes in the sand and how liberating it can be. Well, just go
True.
barefoot in public, mate. You get that feeling all the time. Except when it's the middle of summer and you step on that black tarmac. Maybe put
Yeah. Look at that. Look at the feet. Look at that. Oh my god. Why do you guys want to do this?
your thongs on then. Now, if you thought going barefoot in public was rather informal or slightly offensive, then wait until the average Australian speaks to you. Don't get me wrong, most of them are educated, eloquent individuals, but the average Aussie does love a swear. They even do it on the radio. The first time I heard shit on the radio in the morning, I was wondering if my driving was okay or if someone was shouting at me in traffic. No, it was the person on the radio. I've even heard them drop the odd which can
What?
be wholly confusing to some of the people watching this that don't even know what is. They
What?
can say on the radio, yet I'm cursy enough to bleep on my videos. What a
I know what that is. I know what that means, but I hope they're not saying it in the same way.
beautiful country we live in. Now don't get me wrong, they don't go for the hardcore stuff like or bugger. Wait, bugger isn't really that bad, is it? Oh, I've buggered this up. But most Australians will drop the C-bomb at you as a term of endearment. How's it going? I know that for lots of people when they watch Game of Thrones, dropping the C-bomb was a big taboo. And if you don't like that word, sorry, Australia might not be for you. Because in Australia, lots of people like to swear and everyone's so you better get used to it. I don't think I've ever used that many bleeps in a video before. I really hope I bleeped all of those out. Now the last one is something that's awesome, but also one of my little pet peeves. In Australia, they have some of the best containers for sauce in those little foldy things that just squeeze out perfectly. What an
Wow.
invention! But in Australia, if you want the privilege of sauce, you have to pay for it. Want some tomato sauce,
What?
mate? Yeah, that could be 15 cents, please. Or
What? Even the sauce costs money? That okay.
30 cents if you want
I thought sauces were free.
two, because they're like really small packets. Now don't get me wrong, not everywhere does charge for sauce. Thank the Lord. But lots of places do, and it's pretty common practice. If you're like my wife that just loves to slather everything in tomato ketchup, then not only calling it ketchup is going to be weird in Australia, because it's tomato sauce, as I've been told.
Are ketchups and sauce two different things? I normally tell ketchup and sometimes sauce, but I feel both of them are different things. Are the same?
Many times when I get that confusing look asking for ketchup. But like going to America and having to pay for something and then add on the sales tax, if you want sauce, you're going to have to pay a little bit more. But the good thing is we don't have to tip, because everyone gets a fair wage.
Oh,
and
nice.
Medicare. And gun
Yep.
laws. What a beautiful country Australia is. Now if you're thinking of moving to Australia and you don't want to live in Melbourne or Sydney, and you think that like us, Brisbane could be the place for you, then watch this video to wonder if
I'm gonna watch that as well. Is Brisbane worth going to after this? But guys, okay, let me tell you something. Something about Australia that I found weird from this video is everything. The shops closing early, that was weird. Christmas that is being celebrated in a sunny summer weather, that is also weird. People being friendly, it's very nice, not weird. Very nice of you guys. I love Australian people. And about sport, I had a lot of questions. I have asked you guys a lot of questions. I hope you guys answer that. And about barefoot in public in the summer days, I hope you guys don't do that, okay? It might hurt your foot. You saw the pictures, right? So yeah, that was interesting video. If you enjoyed it, do hit that like button and subscribe. If you want more reactions, do let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.